some bubbling up. And this is actually one of the things I was kind of wanted to pull from you guys was, I don't know whether or not memes are actually applicable. I don't know if you're generally dealing in articles or dealing in things that are kind of bite-sized like that. I don't know how it works for promotion or what you guys are doing outside of promotion, but generally the web seems to really be built for memes, and bubbling up a brand is a bigger, I'll talk about that a little bit more, but that's a much more time-consuming process, I think, that does require positioning yourself as like this kind of almost vindicating force in the web where people will care about you because when you feature them, they just view that as the greatest thing in the world. And I think to get there, I don't know, it requires a certain amount of visibility that comes from being at the center of a lot of these memes and conversations that are going on. So anyway, real quick to just jump into how these memes actually spread. I think or less memes, sorry, just how content bubbles up on the web. It really seems to, the mechanism seems to be this idea that content and conversations resonate differently in different parts of the internet. So in one community, long, well-thought articles do actually get the most traction. In another community, so this will be, there are two really popular communities online that you very likely never heard of. They're super geeky. One is called Something Awful, and one is called 4chan. Something Awful is, it's just like the geekiest people in the world pay like $5 to contribute to this one space where it's like rules are crazy strictly enforced, and if you go out, if you break the rules, they take your $5 and they cancel your account. It's basically the deal. It's brilliant because you can resubscribe as many times as you want. You're often incented to break the rules. It's really pretty clever. But when as you're participating, thoughtful, longer posts generally win. And breaking into that community and getting them to care about anything that you're doing is going to take a longer, more thoughtful post. On the flip side, there's 4chan, which if you're posting anything other than just like, you know, either like sexy girls or cute cats, you're not going to get traction. You'll often get banned the same way. So it's sort of polar opposites. But there are lots of different parts of the web that just behave really differently, partly by the design of the product, partly by the different audiences that the products attract. And what we've been able to either do for clients, what we've been able to do actually with Tumblr when we launched it, and what I think happens to just about every meme on Tumblr that quickly bubbles up, is leveraging different pockets of different communities to kind of snowball enough, or yeah, I guess to roll up a snowball that does have enough momentum to wind up on the places that drive hyper traffic. I think is something that actually, this is why your fat guys talk about this a lot, this notion of like creating hyper traffic, and that if you roll something up enough, you can do it, which you can do relatively quickly. You can then toss it on the dig front page, you can toss it on StumbleUpon, and suddenly go from hundreds of thousands of impressions to tens of millions of impressions. It's generally the way it goes. There is a jump there where you hit the tipping point, you're on StumbleUpon, and all of a sudden, like, my dad and a bajillion other people in the world over 40 now, are just stupidly clicking all of these things that come by, and will look at your silly viral photo or your video or quote, whatever it happens to be. So, let's see. One of the best examples, I think, of the kind of different communities for different things, or different communities where different memes or media resonates in different communities are a lot of musicians now who were releasing content on MySpace has found as traction has sort of gone down there, they're now taking their cool indie music videos and releasing them on Vimeo. Some of them are doing it on YouTube. The coolest ones, I think, have actually been doing them on Vimeo, which if you haven't seen yet is just, I don't know, it's the sexier, cuter, more thoughtful version of YouTube, which is, we actually integrated them as our video partner just because we liked how they were doing it better than YouTube. But a lot of musicians are actually releasing their music videos there because even though it's not a music community per se, that community is much more perceptive and much more responsive to the content that they're creating, the things that they're launching, in the right ways. So what you'll often see happen is something gets released to the YouTube community. As it builds up enough traction there, they'll take that traction and move it over to Tumblr, where enough people will reblog it so that it's now being, or actually, I kind of take that back. That's sort of in reverse of the ways we've usually seen. What will generally happen is the artist who will have a presence on a vlogging site, let's say Tumblr, will post their video to Vimeo, where they maybe don't have a large amount of traction yet. They'll take the video, they'll put it on their blog. Their friends, their audience that they have that follows them as individuals on Tumblr will start reblogging the thing. It will start getting a decent amount of traction. All of a sudden, that drives up the view count. That view count causes that video to bubble up in a little way on Vimeo. All of a sudden, now it's on the popular page for that day. All of a sudden, it becomes a featured music video. It appears in various Vimeo channels where videos get curated and featured. And all of a sudden, now this thing is kind of bubbled up a little bit on Vimeo. Well, they can take that activity and move that around and use either deliberately or just by nature of these communities. That video will now be taken by the people who've discovered it on Vimeo, and will post it to other blogging platforms, who will post it to their own MySpace pages, who will post it to forums where they think it'll be relevant. And all of a sudden now, this thing will start to garner a certain amount of attention. And what the creator will often watch is, all right, where is the new traffic coming from? And this is something that will literally happen in hours. They're watching now who are the referrers, who are the referrers driving traffic to this video, and see that one forum over here where somebody reposted this video seems to be driving tens of thousands of clicks to this thing. Well, now they jump over to this forum, reach out to to the community there, and spin that into a front page story on Dig, for example. So this is actually I can probably speak more accurately to the way we launched Tumblr, which was the same kind of thing. There was a community on the web that was already experimenting with this type of blogging. We launched the very first version of Tumblr. Went to that community, said, "Hey guys, look, for the first time, this is possible. This is you're able to do something that looks more like these things that you guys are hacking together, and we made it easy." Well, the 70 to 100 some people who were hacking together their own tools to do that thought we were just totally cool, thought it was awesome that a product came to light that was inspired by all of their work, and they were thrilled to promote us. So those 70 to 100 people were promoting us. The really cool thing that happened was 50,000, 100,000 people who were fans of those blogs, who were already kind of familiar with that format and excited about what they were doing, were thrilled that they could suddenly do it because they had never had the means to do it before. So they all signed up for Tumblr. We took all of these new users who were signing up for our product and doing all this cool stuff with it, and what did we do that day? And this really did happen within 48 hours. That day, when they all showed up and were posting, we ran a banner at the top of our site saying, Dig the Tumblr launch. Sent all of those users over to Dig, where we quickly got a front page story that actually got a huge amount of traction because tens of thousands of people now signing up for our product the first day. We were able to turn a lot of those into digging the story, and it wound up being substantial enough. But we took that Dig story, went around to any influential bloggers that we wanted who we thought were relevant and would care about what we were doing. We took the Dig story, said hey, we're this new explosive thing, well, however we spun it, and got them to start covering us. And from there, within 2 weeks, we had our first call from, I think it was the Boston Tribune, to do our first print piece. So just kind of an example of how there are different types of community in a bunch of different places, and part of it is just feeling it out. But you can kind of map, all right, if it's going to resonate in this community, you're going to have X many people that you're going to get to sign up for your service or watch your video or reblog this video or just drive up the view count on YouTube to get it on the feature page on YouTube. And once it's there, if it's good enough, and if you gave the video on YouTube a title that'll resonate with the YouTube community, it'll probably drive enough clicks to get it featured on maybe not the front page, but at the top of the popular list for that week or that month, that kind of thing. So, example of leverage and how we've sort of done it. I jumped around between a bunch of examples, but that's the way we think about launching things on the web a lot, and the way we think about this content that Tumblr users are creating, spreading around the web and just spreading around on our network.